What do you think about the intensity from your teammates out there? Was there enough in the game? Did they give enough, do you think?
What you mean? Your question of my teammates?
I can't say. I am the referee, I'm not the coach.
It looks good. He likes it. Nigel Owen's arm goes up. And Ireland have stolen the game right at the death.
Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Charge Down. It's been a while since we've been on, but we're all back. So it's Rob, Neil and Dave. We'll do a quick roundup of last Six Nations round. That was the biggest thing that happened. Okay, we'll start with Wales, England, the big one. Yeah. That one was a pretty interesting game.
That was a match. It wasn't a very high-skilled match, I didn't think, but I thought it was a very entertaining match.
Why wasn't it high skill? I thought all the pundits and all were saying this is the best match of this.
It's a very good match. It wasn't like sorry, I should say not high skill. It wasn't very free flowing.
Yeah, but I think that was like a tactical decision from the two teams. Like there wasn't a ton of mistakes like there was in a lot of other matches.
Someone saying Wales, shot. Like you say that because obviously they're in for a shot, but they really timed this run very well. And last year they were quite good. People were saying like Warren Gatland knows how to build a team, build a squad, and build a style of play, and really has ended up like maybe he ended up losing to us or losing to Scotland or whatever, and having the Poor World Cup, and we'll say whatever. But
right now they're in a good place.
They're in a very good place. They have great momentum, and they look very well posed.
Well, aren't they on an 18-game win streak or something?
Yep.
Isn't that is that a record for them or a record for any sort of team?
It's definitely a record for them. I don't think it's for us.
It's 18 or 19.
They lost the last Six Nations.
Yeah.
It's us. It might be 8 or 10.
No, it's in the teens, high teens.
I don't think it's 18.
It's safe that it was the first game Six Nations they lost, which it wasn't. Say if they won the last 4 games Six Nations, that's 4. 3 games in the summer, 7. 4 games in autumn, 11. And
plus 3, so
10, maybe 11 if I missed one, but
I don't know. I thought I heard 18.
No, that could be at home. It could be or it could be something like that. Or
do you think though that like Eddie Jones was naive in that he went out with the same tactics he employed against the two previous matches, and he knows that Gatland is a wily old operator. I mean, whatever about Schmidt. Schmidt kind of probably just focuses.
Injuries are starting to take their toll now.
On England?
Yeah, it's starting to take it like.
No, but they did the exact same game plan, and you could see. And
well, the thing is, Wales could deal with the kicks. First of all, they knew it was coming.
Yeah, and they played.
Yeah, full back. Very good full back.
Yeah, but you saying Ireland didn't have? Oh wait, we had hands.
Plus, one of our wings was basically useless from a few minutes injury.
How quickly I forget.
If there was like a roundup show, like a highlight show we do, that should be honest. You'll fight to the death for Robbie Henshaw fullback. Damn the expense.
Yeah. But I think Liam Williams was most people's man of the match.
I thought Alan Wynne Jones was.
Alan Wynne Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's just an incredible player. Like,
I don't know. I don't see all that sort of behind the scenes work. I see that he's an incredible communicator and incredible leader, but I just don't see what he does in the field. That's not to say I think he's bad. I just never notice him, so to speak.
Everything he does is very well. It's kind of like Paul O'Connell with better hands. He does a lot of the. He's a very good ball handler actually, not just for a second row, but as a forward full stop, and so they can play all moves off from that way. But everything he does is so well. You mentioned it there. He just controls the ref.
But did you see the video where he was talking to the ref? And one of the other players was coming up and saying, "It's the same player every time, ref." And he gets to them, "Respect, respect." And the other guy just backs off.
Yeah.
Like it was a classic video. I really liked that.
I thought it was a very interesting match because I thought England would win it after their first half. But Wales just kept at it, and just.
Well, they backed themselves and they backed the plan.
And the discipline was very impressive. Sinclair, who's been very good in Six Nations so far, and was very good in that match. Around 54 minutes or so, started losing it completely. He was getting wound up. You gave away 2 or 3 penalties.
Why weren't we winding him up? He was winding us up.
Yeah.
We should have been all in his
problem.
head. And I said it before the match. Like,
We tried to get him and it didn't work.
no, I don't think we tried.
Peter Manny had some
No,
trouble.
that's because Sinclair was at him first. We should have been at him first. Like,
It's hard to wind someone up when he's driving you back.
I suppose, yeah. That's a good point. But like, if you saw it in the match against us, and I'm probably in England's other match where they were so hyped up and all that, we didn't really see that in the Wales match.
I think, yeah, because...
Is that because that's so hard to maintain that sort of energy?
True,
You can't turn up with that energy every week.
You can't say anything from the French match from England. France were shambles, and they always struggle against England, and England were before. So that was always... You can't really take that too much into that. And ours is a game where they surprise us and beat us up. We've got over it.
And we seem to be on low form as well,
Yeah.
so...
It's weird, like, just going on Ireland's form, like, even the coach and Peter Manny, they seem like perplexed about it. Normally, if you can say, oh, we're just need a few things, they just seem like they're confused, like, what's going wrong?
They're probably not too far off what they were doing last year, but for whatever reason this year,
Dan Levy.
it's not working. Like,
I think Conor Murray.
That's it, yeah.
but actually, we'll jump onto that. Actually.
Yeah, I suppose we could jump to
the Italy-Ireland game, which was pretty tough going for Ireland at times.
But, I mean, look at if you look statistically at the amount of passes a scrum half has versus every other player on the field, it's like 4 times the next nearest player, which is the out half, and then the out half is so much ahead of everyone else. So, and a large complaint about what's gone wrong with us is, why are all these passes hitting the ground? Why are all these passes not going to hand? Well, if you look statistically based on how many passes a scrum half makes, a lot of those passes have to be coming off scrum half. So, I mean, eyes have to be set firmly on Murray. Then you have everyone saying he's not fit with his shriveled arm.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well. Like some kind of freak.
I heard people comparing the size of his left and right arm and saying that one is shriveled.
Like they say he's not. That's one line I've heard. He's not recovered from his injury. Like he'll need like an off season or at least an off season to get back full strength. And it was similar to Keane Healy a few years ago. They're comparing it to, if we were reading the same things, where he lost a lot of power. And I'm pretty sure it was just left arm or it was just both arms, and eventually built it up and he got into the form he used to the last year or so.
But surely the video analyst, the coach, the fitness staff, someone has to be able to make a call here and say, alright, Murray's performing at 70% capacity. Surely a Cooney performing at 95% capacity would be better than a Murray at 70%.
Well, there's a few things you have to look at. Like if we beat England, say just a good general good performance, we'd be saying Ireland, they're doing exactly what they need to do.
But that didn't happen.
I know,
and we're trying to find out why.
But sometimes the order of games and the way other games go can colour your view.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
if you look at it objectively, the Italy game wasn't that bad. Like 5 points.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was so disappointed in that. And then I contrasted it to Wales. And I was like, well, Wales didn't manage to get a bonus point against them.
Wales is actually very similar to us last year, where they narrow escape in Paris. I think our Italy game was quite good, but like they did enough to beat France. So the narrow escape in Paris did enough to beat Italy with a B team, and then they had a big performance against England, which sets them up in a great place. But like the Scottish game, that's a pretty decent result, even though we left.
I think it's the nature of it.
It is.
Because I remember at the half time, all the pundits were like, this is a quality match, high quality plays from both sides, all had praise for it. And then in the next half, it all just sort of fell apart.
It was interesting. Italy didn't score after 30 something, after second half, after first half, sorry, I should say. And Scotland didn't after 36 minutes. So, like, during the game, you can be very frustrated, and I was. But, like, if you look at that point of view, like, we're doing well enough. So you can see, like, Joe Smith and the rest of them saying, okay, Murray needs to get back into form, Sexton to a lesser degree needs to get back in form, the team needs to click, but we're still winning these last 2 games and lost against England.
Yeah, so you're saying it's a matter of weighing up expectations versus what the actual results that we're getting. Because, I mean, we did beat New Zealand, we did win the Grand Slam, so, and then you have those stupid Vodafone ads making everyone think we're world beaters.
We're in. We're all in.
I'm not in, fuck that, I'm out.
I love those ads because people who hate rugby are like...
I love rugby and I hate them ads. Terrible
I
ad.
know it rubs the GAA crowd up the wrong way completely.
The people's game.
But yeah, the Italy result. I mean, if you look at it and contrast it to Wales,
I suppose we're talking about Italy versus Ireland now, so we just segue away from Wales.
it's not bad.
No.
Like,
No, it's not. Like the thing is, we are missing a lot of players actually when you look at it. Like for that Italy game, we were missing Ryan, Toner. Byrne was injured, I think, for that one, wasn't he?
Yeah, Henderson as well, I think.
No, Henderson was in.
He
Like,
played, okay.
yeah, he's on the bench. He's just in
Oh, okay, yeah.
after a Pro 12 or Pro 14 game.
Ringrose, he's fairly important.
Rose. Levy, who I think is actually very, very important. Not only because he adds a lot more bulk to our back row, because he can actually get turnovers. I think he's like
Sean O'Brien can get turnovers.
not that much.
Come on now.
Yeah, so he hasn't done it this season so far.
Right.
But like I remember last season, I thought like you could switch in Van der Fleer and Sean O'Brien could drop in, Jordy Murphy come in. But I think Levy is actually just that extra level. Like just because we have great depth in a position doesn't mean we don't suffer when a person.
Okay, let's separate out from the Ireland focus here and say, look at a Northern Hemisphere rugby meta. I don't think turnovers are all that emphasised from anyone. So to say that Dan Levy and his turnover ability,
he would give us turnovers.
it could give us that little bit of an edge, but I don't think teams are focusing on that. So to say that that's what we're lacking, I would say is wrong, because I don't see. I remember many years ago, like not many years ago, but a couple of years ago, like there was this emphasis on bossing the breakdown with a out and out 7.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a sense of that this season. Now you might say then if you brought in Levy, we'd be the one team doing that, and then we'd have the edge.
Plus, teams would have to change how they operate around the breakdown. Like, remember last year when we played against the Scarlets, whenever, first of all, we'd run at Byrne, so we'd have to make the tackle. And second of all, whenever he's near a ruck, 2 people go flying at him.
He'd still get the turnovers, though.
A lot of times he would. But Levy's not that level of turnover, but it means you have to commit. And the fact you're committing to him means that possibly others can get onto the ball.
Have you noticed then that teams aren't committing to the breakdown as hard against
England,
us?
England didn't. They basically flew into the contact.
But I think England weren't committing players to the breakdown because they knew that when we got possession back, we'd kick it away and kick it back to them, and that's what they wanted.
We don't kick that much.
This year, I think we're making.
Our kicking is quite poor.
Yeah.
Which is not to be confused with kicking a lot.
Yeah.
We keep the ball a lot, and we have the most least territory with most possession, I think, stats.
So we're shite in attack, is what you're saying.
Pretty well, yeah, we keep the ball a lot. Yeah.
But we're not. We're ineffectively blunt.
Yeah.
I feel like you can be effectively blunt.
Yeah.
But we're not.
No, for whatever reason.
Like it's not that bad if you're not that efficient with the ball. If you have a lot of it, so you can just tire out the team. The problem is we're not really tired. Well, we did tire out Scotland and Italy to a degree because we closed out the game after at half time basically. But we couldn't do it against England, and we're not going to do it against Wales. It'll be interesting to see how we do it against France.
Yeah. Speaking of France, we'll really quickly kind of look at the France-Scotland game.
Scotland, there's injuries struck. There's they don't have the depth that other teams do, and that's just basically it. I think they're just not that good without their all their first choice players.
But it shows that France can do a job.
Yeah, have France stumbled on their best.
And they've actually kept this twice in a row, which is very unusual.
I think it's the first time since 2003. I think France have named an unchanged 15.
Something like that.
So,
I think France beat us in the Six Nations, which is 2010. You were possibly 2012.
We've never lost at home under Schmidt.
Yeah.
So
it's possibly 2012. No, we drew against them in 2012, I remember.
Yeah.
But they've had about 6 or 7 halfback combinations. We had 1.
Yeah. And it's Entmac and Dupont who are well. Entmac is slightly out of position.
Yeah.
He's not really a 10, but he seems to be handling it okay. Dupont is very, very good.
Yeah.
Did you see in that Scotland match where Entmac took like the lightest of elbows to the hip
and went down?
Instantly lost respect for the man. Like, but why? It didn't even look sore. It was just like I feel he should have been punished for that. And the ref is a bottler for not punishing him. He is. We don't want that creeping into the game. I don't, anyway.
It was a dive,
It was. The guy brushed off his hip and he went down like he was shot. This is creeping into France's game. It's a culture. It's a lazy culture of trying to buy cheap penalties. And it's the young lads. The young lads you wouldn't expect to be doing that. Like a wily old operator, you might say, all right, look at him. Like,
Pascal Pape, Jacques Hughes.
but this it's his second cap. What are you
There was a
doing?
great part during the French game when Hughes was bollocking out someone for not the fullback for not covering over.
I remember that actually. Hey, that's some level of balls. I mean, gotta respect the man for his hustle.
It'll be very interesting. I suppose to say about the match, Scotland just weren't up to it, and France were lucky not to have a couple more. Well, not unlucky because they were.
Didn't they have 3 tries disallowed? 2 tries disallowed?
All due to good reasons, but they
No,
were
they're
up in the
legit.
air.
Just narrow margins. This is why I'm scared. Like, France have it in them. It's just they've stuck with the same team. It feels like they're building.
I don't think that. I think they will cause us a lot of trouble.
To me, it feels like the perfect storm. France are getting that belief, and we just have an absolute absence of belief. So, and France won't fear us. I feel France will lose. If France lose, I think they'll lose because of themselves, not because we outplay them. Although we do have it in ourselves to outplay them, but I still get a sense that this lack of belief exists within the squad, and you can see it in the interviews and stuff. I think the players when they're talking, it might be because Joe Schmidt announced that he's leaving, and he's been such a stalwart, such a rock that's been there for so long that now that he said he's going to leave. Like, the players don't want to play for him. Not that they don't want to play for him, but do you know what I mean? Psychologically, it makes sense.
I have heard that point been raised before that.
Announced.
Yeah, but like I don't put much credence behind it. It's like,
especially with Farrell.
I think
taking over, and they're seeing him every day as well. Like,
well, maybe they know
I think
Farrell's not up to scratch, and they fear that. They know.
I just think we're suffering from a few key players, excuse me, out of form, few injuries, and the fact we have a big target on our back for being the Six Nations winners and the stuff.
and second in the world. Like,
Yeah.
But I don't feel that a few key players being out of form should affect the
Well,
squad.
they're vital players though.
well, I heard several people from different sources suggesting what the Irish squad needs was a big piss up. Like, that's what they needed to really just kind of relax a bit, because they're trying
Too hard almost.
Yeah, like they were kind of like,
Yeah.
It's that fucking Vodafone ad set them down the wrong path. Get out them big heads.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you literally went back like 4 months and he said the Irish team are in crisis, yes,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You say the Irish team can't be better, basically.
Yeah.
And in 4 months' time, you might be saying, well, we're actually in a very good spot. So it's very.
These next 2 games will go
Yeah.
a long way to seeing how we shape up.
I would much rather that we lose them horribly than if we just if we play well but lose them horribly. I'd prefer that than if I know, yeah, it would be weird, but then say if we played terribly but scraped narrow wins.
I prefer if we scrape narrow wins, that's great.
Yeah.
If we scrape narrow win against
But
France,
no, that doesn't incentivise change then.
we don't necessarily need change if we win.
If there is large problems, we need change for the
I don't
World
think there
Cup.
is large problems. I think we need to get very fit.
Sexton and Murray.
See, the
firing.
thing
You
is,
can just get a man fit. Play Cooney for Christ's sake. Have some balls. Play Cooney. Fucking Murray. It will shrivel bastard. I don't know why I
the list of players Dave hates.
no, he's good on his day, and when he's
You think I'm saying like some
rookie youngster. No, really, he's good on his day. But Murray,
Wouldn't start him in Europe.
Bring Duncan Williams in.
We need some solid pros.
I don't know. I just feel like you need to send a message, and bringing in Cooney for Murray would go a bit of a waste to send that message. I.e., if you're a big name, you're not guaranteed your spot just because you're a big name. If you're underperforming or you're not fully fit, your spot isn't guaranteed. And I think it's a bad message to send to keep Murray there, to be honest.
He's done it a little bit with Sean O'Brien. He's rotated in Van der Fleer. And
Yeah. Brought back CJ.
Yeah, and with Carberry too. Like, he's put in Carty, shown that he trusts Carty over Carberry's fitness.
He didn't. He gave Carty like 2 minutes.
Oh no, yeah. Well, I mean,
He had no choice.
but he's on the bench this week. So I don't know how, like, some of those injuries. Like, I remember for the Italy game, Robbie Henshaw was like, they were saying that
Touch and go, wasn't it?
yeah, he could have played if they wanted him to
Yeah.
play. So I assume it was the same this week, but they've opted for
The way he said it, he wasn't. I say he wasn't in contention.
yeah.
So it's one of those things where you take these injury reports with a pinch of salt.
Oh yeah, especially because they're very sensitive
Yeah.
nowadays. Right.
And Byrne just gets injured at the wrong times.
Yeah.
Tigburn.
Yeah. He basically been injured at the start of Six Nations, comes back and slight injury again. He was injured for the All Blacks, was he? Or he's just getting picked.
He didn't get
He's
picked.
getting picked. But yeah, he's just unfortunate with his injuries.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more of him this tournament. We haven't seen him at all, basically.
Yes.
So, if you had Levy and Byrne, we'd be
That's-
like breakdown kings. We'd be dominating everyone.
There's some
how many penalties in the game would that give you, would you say?
good bit, but the thing is they're also good
Yeah.
at other things as well.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see where you consider Byrne at open blindside.
That'll be interesting.
Like you could say he wouldn't necessarily drop Peter Manny, but you could look at it as maybe shift Peter Manny to 7, or maybe bench him or something. Say France have a big team. Let's get a pack to match that, and you don't necessarily lose that much in the line out by putting Byrne at 6.
Well, you don't lose that. If anything, he's better than
I
O'Mahony
know
in the
Manny's
line.
very good at line out, especially at 6.
So you're saying line out's not just about height.
It's about springiness. It's about
This is springiness.
Agility.
speed, determination, anger, hate.
Anger and hate. O'Mahony has plenty of them. I love these man of the match pictures with O'Mahony.
Speaking
Big
of-
smiles again from O'Mahony winning the man of the match.
Speaking of second rows on the bench, Ulton Delan has played well
Yeah.
in the game time he has got so far. I think that's another thing we have to reference the Italy game. We were down to our 4th and 5th second rows and they still performed.
Yeah, it's good.
And we rotated around aside from that as well, so like we have to put that into consideration as well when we say the performance was disjointed or it wasn't that good.
Was a bonus point win, though.
True.
I think, whatever about anyone else, I have that elevated expectations from Grand Slam and beating the All Blacks.
Yeah.
And then knowing it's a World Cup year. It's all psychologically too much for me. I can't take it, lads.
Well, the thing is, like, we're most likely getting out of our pool as top winners. Like, Scotland had a great chance to beat us at home and they didn't.
So yeah.
And that was a very good...
Do you not think Japan will be rubbing their...
They'll-
Oh God, I wanted to say something bad there. But they'll be planning.
Of course they will, but it doesn't mean they can win.
Yeah, but-
I think they'll be targeting us, but they'll definitely be looking for Scotland. They'll fancy their chances against Scotland.
Yeah,
Big
true.
time. So they'll
But it's a home tournament. Maybe they'll
Yeah.
surprise everyone and plan to beat both of us.
Yeah, they'll get hammered on both of us.
yeah.
I don't know, man. Brave Nippon. To do a job like South Africa.
Alright, so I think we've kind of covered the Ireland-France game coming up.
What? I haven't even talked about the squads.
Okay.
Cronin, where's my golden
Oh
boy?
yeah, Cronin got dropped.
Yeah.
Speaking of players where you're told like you're dropped
Why isn't Porter here? What?
again.
More Leinster focus.
You say Joe.
Who are these chumps? Stockdale? Who the fuck is that?
See on the bench. The bench is an all Munster front row.
It's not a bad idea, I think, doing something like
Yeah.
that.
How things have changed.
But what's the logic? Is it just to get more
Well, the thing is,
people who haven't got full experience in these
well,
high
I think
pressure
John Ryan's a good
situations?
scrummager. He's decent around the field as well. That's not pitching a hole into that. But Porter, he is still a weak scrummager, so you know you can drop in Porter and he'll do a job for you. So it's now getting John Ryan more experience, more time on the pitch, and also it means like Porter can get his start in the Pro Football
So you're
League.
thinking that we fear the French scrum then?
Yeah, that's definitely a point to it. Like you don't want Furlong going down early and maybe necessarily bring on Porter. Kilcoyne has done well. He doesn't pass the ball. We have to accept that from him. That's just not.
He makes meters though. I'm starting to like him a bit more. I like these little bursts he makes.
That's in a squad like this. You can bring in a player that will fulfill a role, and he's a good scrummager and he'll carry hard.
Do you know what frustrates me just a little bit about him? All these big carries he seems to make seems to be like in your own 22 sort of thing. I know teams just
How frustrating
no, but
is him?
what I'm saying is teams' defense tightens up around their try line.
Yeah.
I get it, but I feel like we should be using him on these burst runs near the fucking try line as
True,
opposed to
but
in
I
our own
guess,
22.
Much opportunity.
Yeah, given it where on the field we're playing,
Yeah.
I admit, yeah.
And Scannell, like people said, Cronin wasn't that good at lineouts, but Scannell missed a few as well.
Yeah.
which would be indicative that maybe it's not the hooker's fault.
Yeah, no, some of them were definitely Cronin's, but a couple of them weren't. But Scannell, when he plays very well, he's a very good hooker in that his set piece is solid, and he's very fierce around the break. He's basically the opposite of a hooker of what Cronin is, but again, not necessarily he won't give you a good line out. Like it's not something you can rely on with him.
Which is what you want from your hooker.
Yeah, but
The
unfortunately,
most reliable of lineouts.
we don't have that in Ireland.
Am I incorrect in saying in that Italy match there was only one player who could call the lineout?
I'm not 100% sure about Delan. And Henderson can now these days. I
Okay.
think.
Well, I don't know. I guess it is a fair message. I was asking messages to be sent, and if your lineout malfunctions to such a degree, it does send the message to drop the hooker. So, given that he was the set like bench man, so thanks,
Ringo's
Joe.
back in the. So hopefully he gets some joy out of the French midfield defence.
Do you reckon Bastard will be running at Johnny all day? I'd say he'd be an idiot not to. I'd literally be putting my shoulder to Johnny's head all fucking day. No, I watched a compilation video of the coming
versus
together.
Sexton.
Yeah, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. But Sexton, like at this point, I think needs to have a bit of
Don't
self-preservation. No, he's grand and all, but just a bit of self-preservation in the contact. Like, you know,
Be a bit smart.
yes, don't be stubborn. Like, you can see it in his face when he's going into these tackles, especially when he's going for choke tackles and hold up ball or rips or whatever. You can see the amount of determination, man, which obviously I have an immense amount of respect for. But Bastard will be licking his lips knowing that this guy's going to be coming at me full tilt. I'm going to absolutely smash the guy. I'd be worried, to be honest, that Bastard will murder Sexton.
It's just that Pickamal's in the team, so I'm seeing a lot of Pickamal's coming straight off backwards scrum, running straight at Sexton as well. And
They'll target him, I feel.
I would.
Yeah, I'd be just, if I was the coach, not to say that the French coach has much input here, but if I was the coach, I'd be just saying, look at that man. He's so frail. Look at Scotland. They were putting in marginal A hits that weren't even all that hard, and he went off after what, like 45, 50 minutes or something. France would be trying to get him off at half time, I think, if not earlier.
Well, if you were trying to beat Ireland, rattling Sexton and Murray is the bad way to start.
Absolutely.
Hey,
And with
hey.
Carty on the bench, easy peasy, boys.
Yeah. Is Marmion on the bench?
No, it's Coon.
Cooney, okay. Yeah, Cooney and Carty could be the guys to close out the game. It'd be interesting.
Could be. I'd say. Well, Carty, I'd say, will be coming on at about 50. If France play as I imagine they're going to play, Carty will be coming on at about 50 because Sexton's going to be pretty fucking broken. Peno's not small either. He likes to run at people. Fiku will run at you. Vahamina, he's massive. He run at you.
You can listen to the entire
Bamba, they're all massive. They just need that South African guy, Willemsa. They need him on there. More people to run at Sexton. So we talk about Wales, Scotland.
I'm calling Irish win
Alright. By much though, or
8 points maybe.
8?
I think it's like we've all the parts to beat France even enough, but I think it will be like the game itself will never really be too much in doubt. Like they might go ahead but not too far. I don't think it'll be very pretty, but I think we will have enough. Like France will just get away through the penalties and we'll profit enough out of that. But I think we'll be vaguely frustrated, but happy enough with the win.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like an unlikely outcome, but I'm going to say France by the narrowest of margins, 1 or 2 points, I would say. That's purely because I'm absolutely glass half empty kind of guy. But obviously I want Ireland to win, but no, I just think France will do a job. I think they have it in them.
Do a job for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna back Joe Smith to get the boys firing again. So I'm gonna go with Ireland win, maybe 5-6 points.
Then it's
Is it-
England. Sorry.
Because this is the way they've structured this 2 weeks. I think is that this is the rehearsal for the World Cup. This is 2 back-to-back matches, top level,
Yeah.
have to win. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
No, sorry, that's another point why Sean O'Brien might not be there. So you can just bring in a fresh back row, considering it's a 6-day turnaround, I think.
Okay.
So that could be, and the reason why Byrne might not be there, or not risked. So that could be also factor into team selections we should have mentioned.
Yep. All right. We'll move quickly on to England, Italy.
That's England by a massive amount.
Yeah, England.
The only story there is if Italy play well again and frustrate England, that the narrative then that comes to England it's kind of falling apart a bit.
But what could Italy even do to frustrate
They
England?
denied him a bonus points. That'd be pretty big.
They tried that like meme tactic a while back where they just
2 years
didn't
ago, yeah, they
didn't
tried
make
that.
rucks.
They had to change the rules. So they couldn't do
Like
that.
what's Connor Pope going to come out with this time? There's no
Did it
meme.
again. They said Connor Pope.
For fuck's sake! Whatever the hell the man's
Conor
name is,
O'Shea.
Conor O'Shea. Just,
Big Con of Italy, Colin.
I'm expecting a meme tactic, and I just don't think he's going to find it.
20 players.
He's found a loophole. I'd almost say that if Italy fielded 20 players, they'd still lose.
They'd win with 20. They just soak up all the. Send 5 men a final every. And if, of course, if England get any more injuries, that'd be bad for them.
I see they've brought in Joe Cockanasinga and Manitou Laggy Benteo, so it's a big backline.
Yeah.
Just,
I think they'll. And
If-
that
Would that indicate a departure from their more kicking orientated?
it'll be interesting to see. Like,
It would, but I don't think you can look too much into Italy. It's in Rome, isn't it?
no, let's see.
Was it Twickenham?
No, it's in Twickenham.
Okay, yeah, this is going to hammer them. They want to put on a show for the crowd.
Yeah, it's in Twickenham.
Yeah.
All right, and I suppose-
Wales, Scotland.
Yeah, that's probably arguably the biggest game because there's the most at stake.
I would say that if Scotland were.
Yeah, I'd love if Scotland had a full power unit here, just to see
I
the
think
two go at
Wales
each
will
other.
end up winning that easily enough.
I'm not sure about easily
I think
enough.
they will. They have everything they need to. It'd be a shock there if Wales did lose. That means the Six Nations is.
England's the
Yeah. I don't think England.
I don't think any matches in the Six Nations are easy unless you're against Italy.
There is no easy match, but like,
It's all relative.
yeah, like I think the scoreline will be quite stark. The difference.
You
So now
don't-
onto the big news of the scandals.
The scandals, yes. This was a busy week in rugby. Very busy week. There's a lot going on. We'll start off with the Wales merger thing, just because.
One utter cluster.
But what I don't get is, why isn't it the Dragons? Why the Ospreys?
First of all, Ospreys, from what I understand, and viewers, please let us know if I'm wrong. The Ospreys came to the Scarlets for a possible merger because Ospreys are pretty bankrupt and they might leave like Liberty and fold basically. And then they come out and their chairman then resigns.
Yeah.
And then there's a meeting between the union and the club, essentially their executive board, whatever it's called. And they come out basically denying this. And then Scarlets put their statement saying, well, Ospreys came to us, we want nothing to do with this. And there's like, during the week, it's like there'll be the Scottish Ospreys and there'll be a region in North Wales because they have to keep 4 teams in.
Yeah.
And it was just utter madness. Like,
It's a stark contrast to how the game is run now.
yes. And we're lucky, like we should
Well,
say. But also,
Well, I was under the understanding that this was the Welsh Rugby Union's initiative to merge the two,
Probably
whereas
agree.
what you've just said there would indicate that it was the Ospreys.
Apparently, Ospreys initiated the merger.
So
and then
to
back
say
edge
that
kind of, and jump
just-
back in at the end.
to say that this is an indictment how rugby's run in Wales would be
Oh, it is part of
incorrect.
it, yes.
Okay, but if Leinster just started doing some mad shit, it wouldn't be because the Irish Rugby Union.
Yeah, you have to remember they're exactly like us because they're privately owned and semi-privately owned.
Yeah.
Like Dragons have
They own the Welsh Rugby Union owns the Dragons now.
and Rodney Parade I think they own.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get rid of them. And Ospreys I think are being very poorly mismanaged, financially especially. So it's just mad looking at it. Any other week would be the top news of the rugby union.
And what is Project Reset then?
Basically, just reset the project.
Essentially, from what I can see, is they look at the Irish model and are like, why aren't we doing what they're doing? Because they have total control. The Ireland thing is total control over the players,
Yeah.
central contracting. They're able to get 4 fairly competitive teams, whereas in Wales it's
Getting worse and worse,
worse
pretty
and
much.
worse. And they don't
Losing players to English clubs and all that. Like.
yeah, and like the last time they had an impact on Europe. I know Scarlets got to the semi-final last year,
Yeah.
but overall they don't impact at all.
Yeah. Considering like 9 years ago, Ospreys got to the semis they got to quarters in Biarritz.
Yeah.
And like they were never been a great team. They generally were contesting pools. Scarlets got to semis last year, and Porters the year before.
Possibly, yeah. It's like it's not terrible,
Yeah.
but it's definitely underperforming. So.
Yeah. Like,
I think the Welsh Rugby Union kind of has a point though, because from what I can gauge from people's talk online, Welsh fans and supporters, is that they sort of they're happy enough with the way it is at the moment because the national team is performing.
yeah, it's weird. Like you can be a Welsh because Wales play so many games. You can be a Welsh fan and go to like 10 games a year nearly.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, why don't they want more? Why don't they want their clubs to be good as well
They
as their
don't-
country?
It's not their clubs. They don't see them as that.
Yeah, there's a whole.
So they need a project reset then. What's
Yeah.
the issue?
I think the problem is like if people aren't going to these Welsh regions 18 years like after they've been established, they're just not going to.
Yeah.
Because and you have to face the fact that Wales is not like as prosperous as the English clubs, demographics and Irish clubs. It's just a poor place for a lot of it.
You calling out Wales?
I am. They can't afford a trip over and fine.
The economic minister of Wales is shedding a tear now because of what you just said.
It's true though. Like it's just literally.
So you're saying they need more coal mines, is what you're saying?
They need. Yeah, if coal came back, that would be great. It's not coming back.
Coal's not coming back, boys.
Glory days are back, boys. Look at the line.
We'll build tough men down there.
They did. They
They'll
played.
die when they're 30, but they'll be tough bastards.
You have to face. There's like Ospreys are right beside Scarlets, so they've loads of players. Loads of people.
Overlap.
Not that many people. Yeah, overlapping, and the population isn't that big as well.
So then it would sort of make sense to merge the two, no?
It would, but who goes to the games?
But the Scarlets fans and
People
the
don't-
Ospreys
people
fans.
don't like these clubs because they like the old clubs. Like there's this weird strain in Welsh rugby circles where they just hate the Pro 14.
Yeah. Oh, they slander it.
Like what's his name? Jiffy and the
Jonathan Davis. Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that.
Like how the fuck are you supposed to promote? Like people trying to promote this, and when there was my primary school came out and said, "Jeez, whatever Leinster is in is shit." Like you might say, "Okay, yeah, it's not very competitive," or "I didn't play too much in it," but like when people are trying to promote it, why even watch it? Like,
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
and that's the kind of root of them trying to get to like breakaway tournaments with the English clubs.
Yeah.
But the English clubs don't really care, so nothing ever comes of it.
It sounds like such a weird situation.
It
Like,
is.
how do you even remedy that?
I don't think you can. You have to be really good administrators, and they have more money now because they paid off most of their debt on the Millennium Stadium. But you have to have good administrators,
All right.
and you just need Wales to be.
Here's a
richer.
wild idea, all right? You're saying that they like the national team, but they don't like the club teams because they're not their club teams.
Yeah.
What if they had one club team that was essentially the Wales national team?
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, but where do you get the fans from? You just play it in.
What do you mean? We've just acknowledged that
Sorry,
Wales
where
is
would
very
you base the
fast.
stadium.
In the Millennium Stadium. You'd be filling that bad boy out every week for these Kings encounters
Then you
and
kill a lot of player development because you only have a certain amount of spots.
You can only have a certain squad.
okay, you split it into two teams, Wales
Oh,
A
four.
and Wales B.
Why stop it too?
I don't
Plus, they're
know.
contractually obliged to have 4 teams in the.
They have to provide 4 teams. So that's why they were talking about setting one up in the north.
But if they're talking about, as we've seen in the last week, about bringing in Georgia, say, or more South African teams, why can't Wales just have 2 teams? Okay, they're contractually obliged now to have 4 teams, but could they not approach them and say, well, the way what rugby's set up in our country at the moment is that we cannot sustain 4 teams. We'll give you 2, but they'll provide more finances by having more full
You
stadiums
have to
and such.
guarantee the finance.
Okay.
Plus, remember, it's not just the 2 teams you have. Like they're games people have to play at home. Like, so they're games you're taking away from other teams to fill their grounds with.
Yeah.
True, yeah. Because it's round robin. Well,
Like you can fix it out that way, but like,
Yeah.
that's another bit of news actually we didn't mention in the pre-game.
which thing?
The possible 3 South African teams
Oh
joining.
yeah. What was it, the Stormers?
That was before this whole thing went through. So they said, "Oh, there'll be 3 South African teams joining to make the Pro 16." I was like, "That doesn't make any sense," because there's like, actually, no, a Wales team will be dropping out by merging. The Stormers, Lions, and
I'm not sure if the Lions.
Cheetahs?
No, the Cheetahs are already in.
the other cats.
What's the other?
Western Force?
No, what are the?
Is that an Australian
What
team?
are the South African teams?
Bulls, Stormers,
Sharks.
Lions,
Sharks.
It was the Sharks, the Stormers, the Bulls. The Lions are too successful in Super Rugby, so they're okay.
Well, the Bulls are doing well in Super Rugby at the start of the
I
season.
know, yeah,
So.
but money.
Yeah.
Money.
It'd be interesting to see if they did.
Dude,
They change up the format again. I think to
yeah.
two conferences that are completely separate. Almost. I think.
Well, I've heard of being you could divide it up into 4 conferences. So you'd have an Irish conference, a Welsh conference. Maybe not 4.
The danger is it turns into Super Rugby, which is shit.
Yeah, which is if it gets complicated. Then
To me, the only reason Super Rugby is shit is because of the countries that are involved. New Zealand are too successful. Australia aren't successful enough, and South Africa are kind of thereabouts.
Yeah,
So it's not interesting in that regard. If all the countries were sort of equally matched, like it was, say, 12, 15 years ago, then it would be no problem.
Yeah, but one of the problems is New Zealand just keeps winning, but also the fact is they're so far away.
Well, that too, yeah.
Like,
Geographically,
the
it
time zone,
doesn't
like,
really
you're
make
watching
sense.
games and all nights, and South African teams always want to break away.
But the countries have all... Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the countries have always been that far away. Sorry, that was a bit of
But
a
it's always
lame
been
joke
like
there.
that. The Super Rugby kept adding more and more teams, even when Australia couldn't support. Only really New Zealand, to be honest, could support 5 teams.
The more and more teams that were added was just Japan and Jaguares,
No,
no?
it started like Super 10, Super 12.
I think 12 was when a lot of people argue it was at its peak.
Yeah,
Then
That
it went
was
to Super 14, then
15,
15, and then 18.
yeah,
It was 18?
Yeah, it was up to 18 teams. Because Kings and Cheetahs were in there as well.
yeah. And then
Oh,
some
yeah.
Wolves.
Some Wolves and Jaguars.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it is truly a global continent,
Oh.
global thing when you factor the Jaguars
The
into
thing
it.
is, you
Like,
have to spend a lot of money traveling as well, which is
I always think of the toll that the Argentinian players have to take every year in terms of how much air travel they have to do.
Yeah.
Like, because they are like on the road non-stop on huge transatlantic flights and trans-Pacific flights. And
yeah, that would wreck your head, I'd
yeah,
say.
no, like, you'd be living in airports, which is crazy. Like, and then
If you're not training, you're travelling, basically.
yeah. Which-
That's not life for anyone, really. Us Irish have a pretty privileged position, I'd say. The boys can go out on the lash on the weekend. Oh, God.
they're playing at the weekend.
Alright.
Stumbling out of a bar at 4 a.m.
Alright, so that's the Welsh merger thing that isn't or is happening, we'll see. So the other big news was the Nations Championship.
God,
Unveiled by World Rugby this week after there was a big shitstorm from a leaked report from the New Zealand Herald.
it seems that everyone hates it.
Yeah. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen regardless.
It locks in the teams there for
Yeah.
12 years.
Yeah.
This is all Pichot's doing.
Yeah.
I hate him. I wish he goes away.
Six Nations promotion
They
relegation.
said, "Oh, that'll still be prime jewels," and it's like, no, it won't.
Yeah.
This is exactly what you want to take away from them. It's a stupid idea. Like some things that have merit in them, but it's a stupid idea.
It seems to be the Southern Hemisphere are pushing to get a hold of that Northern Hemisphere cash.
And also, like, it's the game's dying. Not maybe not necessarily the game's dying, but like Australia, first of all, their union is terribly run.
Yeah.
And they've heavy competition, so they can't afford that. And it seems to be getting worse and worse and worse for them because they're shutting down teams that billionaires are trying to sponsor.
Yeah.
South Africans are just out of money and a lot of their players leaving, even though they probably could sustain it a bit because they have so many players they produce. And New Zealand, I think, are starting to feel the bite of players leaving, like
James Lowe and stuff.
stuff like that. Like there's all those players that's not the top level. The top level can keep, but people just below that, which will fill up the spots. Like you have players who are now leaving their mid-20s because they realise, okay, like I could stay for the next 5 years and not get great money and become an All Black and get a couple of caps. I'll go up north and get loads of money and maybe get capped up there.
Yep.
So like they can still sustain it at the moment, but it's still starting to pinch them.
What I don't care about the World League thing is, to me, if you're starting up something like that, you want to have an emphasis on building the game in smaller nations. And that's exactly the opposite of what it seems to be like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. One of the problems is they don't care about that. They just want the money for some nations, and it's basically Pichot. That's a massive problem with it.
Well, let's just hash this out a bit and try and look at the positives if there is any. One thing I think would be interesting is that I'm trying not to get too into it, but the whole promotion relegation thing is something that people have been clamouring for a while.
But it wouldn't happen for 12 years though.
Well, no. Did you watch the Twitter video? Okay, so the Twitter video is basically that there was promotion and relegation in Six Nations. So
Yeah.
if Italy finished last, they'd have a playoff with whoever finished first in
Yeah.
the second division. So Georgia. So there'd be a playoff. Some issues I've seen with that is in a Lions year there'd be no promotion relegation,
Yep.
and I think in a World Cup year there'd be no promotion relegation.
Sorry.
So you could actually get locked out for like 2 years
Yeah.
if you get demoted. So the obvious issue is why would Italy and Scotland vote for that?
Yeah.
Because they're voting for their own relegation.
France maybe as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Sure, like, and if I know Wales have finished last before as well.
I don't think Wales would ever worry about that, to be honest. Not now.
Does this World League thing make it so that there's a second tier Six Nations?
There is
Yeah.
there's a Six Nations B
There-
thing at the moment, but
There is, but
there's no promotion relegation. obviously.
this would more formalise everything, where there'd be a pathway for you to get into the Six Nations or into the Rugby Championship as well.
Who's currently in the second tier Six Nations? Georgia, Romania.
Germany have been in it. I'm not very sure if they float.
Belgium.
between-
Belgium, Spain, Portugal.
Yeah.
Is that on at the moment?
Russia,
I think that's it exactly,
Russia?
and Russia as well. Yeah.
those kind of teams.
Yeah.
Basically, the only team that can challenge is Georgia, and even then,
They
like I don't see the benefit of kicking Italy out of Six Nations, like so we can put 80 points past Georgia.
Yeah.
And go to Tbilisi instead of Rome. It's like I'm all in favour for Georgia getting more. Like you can say, okay, you have to have a tour there, or invite them over a tour, or something like that. Or before you go on a tour, you play against Georgia. Like there's so much you can do for Georgia that doesn't hurt the Six Nations, which is the greatest tournament on earth.
Yeah.
People say, and they said like it won't impact Six Nations, but it 100% will, especially with this relegation choice.
Yep. I think it would add a lot of spice to the Italy-Scotland games, because no one wants to.
Yeah,
no
but
one
spice
wants
there
to
already.
lose.
No one wants to lose a game,
I know, yeah.
especially because that's one of the few chances those teams let Scotland less these years. But to win a game,
Yeah, I know, but it would add that element of.
it would mean that they would play so crap.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It would just ruin the game's quality. I think.
Yeah,
I can see very little benefit from any of this.
yeah, there's that aspect.
But there's development for the Pacific Island nations.
Yeah, so the other aspect of that then, so is that in the Rugby Championship you add in, currently it would be Japan and Fiji, because it's supposed to be based off the world rankings.
For some reason, it's Fiji. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Aren't Fiji ninth
no,
currently?
I think they beat France, so they're doing quite well. The rumours before that were that it was going to be Japan and USA, which was crazy because USA are not.
USA are there because Pichot is on the board of the USA.
Yeah,
And also because they're big money
yeah,
markets.
the big market, like.
That for some, they think will become a big money market.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes. Like whether it'll actually get through. It seems like it's gonna have a lot of barriers to get through.
Every player basically came against it.
Yeah, the players actually coming out against it was pretty strange.
Because also, if it does go through, it's going to kill the Lions. They say it won't. It'll kill the Lions.
Yeah.
It will devalue Six Nations. I'm not very sure about the World Cup, but
Fairly sure it totally devalued the World Cup as well.
Because every year you have a world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a bit,
I can see no good things about this. There's potential good things, but the fact that these are the people bringing it and what they'll do to bring it about and all the stuff it'll destroy completely outweighs that, and I don't trust them to any potential gains to come out of it.
the big thing I'd be worried about is, well, they keep citing it as a positive, is that they'd be able to collectively sell the rights.
Yeah.
So they'd have like one big deal, but then obviously the issue with that is the Six Nations could sneak in behind the paywall then.
Yeah, that's something
if
we
they-
definitely want
I
to
don't
avoid.
want that.
If that happened, that would be huge.
Happened with cricket,
Yeah,
and participation plummeted.
Yeah.
And now no one plays cricket in England,
yeah.
and they don't get much money.
And
out
I
of
would
it.
think that rugby's already in a dangerous spot for participation, given the physicality of it and all the media attention
like
around
more and more people
concussion and
playing
stuff.
it, but
No,
there always is that element that people won't play it because of that.
But I'm saying that's already there,
Yeah.
and then if you start adding taking away the free tier Six Nations thing,
Yeah.
you know, that's definitely going to impact further on parents. Their even knowledge of it. Like, I mean, you're always going to have that rich blue blood sort of Blackrock attitude of, oh, my boy's going to play centre for Ireland, but you know, I want more of a everyman game, not just for the
South Dublin in particular.
the South Dublin elite.
Yeah, that's a big danger that people aren't really picking up, that it could slip in behind.
And I mean, it's in a good place in Ireland at the moment, I think. So to look at it selfishly, I would think, just purely from an Irish perspective, we'd stand to gain nothing. If anything, we stand to lose from it coming in. So, yeah,
True.
no, I don't like this World League. and again, it devalues the World Cup, and you know that's special. 4 years, sort of, you get hyped up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if football had a World Cup equivalent every year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind
it'd
of,
be
kind of,
crazy.
you know, I suppose they're bringing all these crazy tournaments that you never can tell.
But to me, I don't even like football, and to me, the football World Cup is special.
Yeah.
So, whereas if it was on every year, it would just be another thing.
Just think like Brazil, Germany. They really only play when they're playing against each other in the World Cups. Whereas this would mean that we play against New Zealand every year, South Africa every year, Australia
Yeah,
every
and
year.
there's such a limited amount of good international rugby teams that you have to keep it special. Like
I thought they hit a good spot actually just over the last couple of years with the tours. I thought the tours, the 3-match tours to South Africa and to Australia were great.
even that seems almost like too much to me, because there is such a limited number of good teams that playing them that regularly. I know it's not really regularly, but like, where can you tour to give you a challenge? There's 4 possibilities.
Argentina, although they're always trying
Yeah.
to pour these matches.
South Africa, Australia, New Zealand.
You could
There's
do
nowhere
like-
else you can
do like-
tour
you could do
to.
like a 2-game Australia, 1-game Pacific Islands or something.
You could, but I just, as I say, I think you need to build up more countries.
And in the World Cup where Lions year, sorry, World Cup year you won't be touring,
Yeah.
and the Lions year you'd be going to like the likes of Japan and
Yeah,
USA. I think it's a good place at the moment. Like, so 2 to 4 years is like a 3-game tour to one of the big 3 or 4.
I just want less of a gulf and more bloody teams, but I don't think that World League's gonna result in that.
No.
If anything, it might just do
Freeze
the
out.
opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, you might make more of a television audience in the US or something, which might make more revenue available to
I don't
the
think
higher
you will,
ups.
like, if people aren't watching the games at the moment, why would we watch them? Because the USA is getting hammered.
Yeah, they love their wins, don't they? They can only chant USA, USA so much before they just realise we're losing every game. Let's just stop caring.
and losing badly. Like New Zealand versus USA is complete total mismatch.
Yeah, the Yanks wouldn't like that,
No,
because they are the best nation on earth.
undisputed kings of the world.
Are there any other topics, or Australia match fixing?
Yeah,
I was trying to think what match it was. Samoa a few years ago was thrown around.
I saw people speculating that Rocky Elson was involved, and I was horrified.
Golden Boy Rocky.
Alleged.
I just want to watch the match. I don't know what it is or when it
I think it was
happened.
a Samoa match from like 5 years ago or something where they lost.
I think I saw that before the game they had a 90% chance of winning or something, and then they lost. So everyone
Like,
was
of course, this
speculating.
could be no things whatsoever. It could be someone stirring shit in the media.
I've seen the 2011 game against us being thrown up a few times.
There's no way they would have got that good odds.
Yeah, I know, but we would have been.
They didn't even play that bad. They just got the shit kicked out of
Yeah.
them.
Is that the World Cup match?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't feel like they threw that.
no, but that's.
They were never, yeah.
Watching it, I didn't get a sense they're throwing this. You know, I
It's
feel
actually
like
pissing rain.
if it was that obvious, you'd watch it and you'd say, "All right,
Yeah.
yeah." Like they said, there's obvious
Is that
forward,
Scotland
obvious
match?
passes gone awry and
Yeah,
stuff.
Scotland match a couple of years ago where they just played terrible and missed a lot of kicks to goal. But
I think it was lashing rain at that match as well. If I'm correct in saying,
pardon?
I think it was lashing rain at that match as
I
well.
think it was a different match.
They also lost.
Yeah, they lost the lashing game, which was a couple of years ago.
The only thing I remember from the game is after they won, the
Yeah,
two
yeah,
guys
well, that's-
knocked heads.
That's the lashing game. I think there's another one which is quite high scoring. I think
Yeah, I think Finn Russell was very good in that
Yeah.
game.
that was relatively recent, but I don't think that was.
But if Rocky Elson was involved, it must be quite a while ago. I got the sense that it was only within the last few years.
Well,
Several
there's
years
just-
ago, so I think it's
It's just total speculation. People are
Yeah.
trying to connect dots. Because part of me is thinking, like, if you were to actually try and fix a rugby game,
Yeah.
it would actually,
Throw intercept passes all day, easy.
You need several people though.
Yeah, it's complicated. Like,
You don't need several people. You need one guy to just throw intercept passes all day.
Throw intercept passes that won't get you pulled very quickly though, and it's if you throw intercept passes that, obviously you'll get.
you have to be a certain position.
If you're 9 and 10 are involved in throwing a match, they could throw a match quite easily.
I know.
But as you say, they could get subbed. So
Plus, the thing is, you have a game plan, and your game plan isn't throwing long passes out to.
when no Reed's on the field, it is.
Get that ball.
But you could be in a situation where your replacement 9 or 10 are of sufficiently bad quality that
Which has been the case in Australia.
you don't bring them on. You just keep your main guys on regardless of how they're firing.
True.
Now, this is totally scurrilous, but I suspect Curtly Beale to be involved because he's been such a devil for the controversy that I'm like.
Fairness, there's like 4 or 5 players, and that was another thing in the reports, like the not ARU, whatever you call Rugby Australia, they're called. We're very concerned about the behaviour of the players, like because kept getting drunk. Like there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Didn't Curtly Beale send some inappropriate things to like some woman in the Australian? I think he sent some.
There's James O'Connor, Curtly Beale,
Quade Cooper maybe.
Cooper, Genia? No,
Genia seems like he has his head screwed on.
Don't put Kenny out with those boys.
Yeah, they're basically all pissheads. Basically, that's the long short. Someone got caught. James O'Connor got drugs.
Yeah.
Israel Folau and his anti-gay
No,
agenda.
I don't think there's
Yeah, but his anti-gay agenda. Maybe
Yeah.
he's invested the money he won from fixing into some sort of anti-gay thing.
I think it was
I need the money, man.
I think it was before Izzy.
Alright.
So all the controversies this week.
Yeah, that was
Plus the sevens for the
Oh yeah, sevens.
for review.
England closing down their 7 system.
Prep.
Just for the year or
Yeah, just cutting all
permanently?
Yeah,
Not like shutting it down, but like maybe getting rid of all the permanent contracts and stuff.
they were talking about merging with Scotland and Wales to make a Team GB, which
Could be sort of cool.
yeah, but I don't think Scotland. and
Well,
Wales are
yeah,
doing that.
because now they have decent teams themselves.
Yeah, they're happy enough to develop their players.
Sevens is in a weird spot globally, I think.
It's a piss up game.
It's weird. I can see the appeal of it in that, like, you know, it's high scoring, very
Olympics.
open, but at the same time, it's like it's a poor reflection of 15-man rugby. Like,
Yeah.
It
it's-
frustrates me that if you make a line break, you score, kind
Yeah,
of. Because
no,
everyone's so fast and there's no real
Yeah.
tension there, for me, anyway.
I can appreciate it. Like when you watch
Yeah,
Fiji play and all, like it's you can.
But I think we've put the appropriate amount of resources for it.
Yeah, basically no.
Throw them a bit of money. You know.
Throw them a few scraps.
Trying to get to the Olympics. That's what we're trying to do.
And if we can get that, great. We'll throw you some
Yeah,
cash
yeah.
down over there. But if not, oh well, lads. Maybe you can get a contract with one of our good teams.
All right. We'll leave it there for
Alright.
tonight, anyway. Yeah.